Gavin's breath hitched, the world tilting sideways in the cramped confines of his single bed, posters of indie bands peeling from the walls like forgotten dreams. It was supposed to be sacred, that raw, fumbling moment in Alex's room across the hall, the air thick with the scent of stale pizza and unspoken fears. They'd been inseparable since freshman orientation at NYU, two Midwestern transplants navigating the concrete jungle. Alex with his easy grin and lacrosse build, Gavin the quiet artist sketching feverishly in the margins of his psych notes. "You're my brother, Gav," Alex had said, pulling him into a hug that lingered too long, Gavin's heart pounding like a war drum against the betrayal he couldn't yet name. But this was annihilation. The meme had spawned variants overnight. His words twisted into gifs, his vulnerability auctioned off to faceless trolls in the Twitter trenches. "Secret's safe with me," Alex had sworn, eyes wide with what Gavin now recognized as panic, not empathy. By dawn, the campus group chats were ablaze, whispers in the quad turning to outright stares as Gavin stumbled to his 8 a.m. lecture, hood pulled low like a coward's cowl. His phone, a Pandora's box, pinged relentlessly. 5K retweets, 12K likes, comments slicing deeper than any razor. Fag alert, NYU edition, from some anonymous shitstain. Heart emojis from strangers offering hollow solidarity. He ghosted the lecture hall, ducking into the nearest coffee shop on Washington Square, the hiss of the espresso machine mocking his unraveling nerves. Baristas shot him sidelong glances, one even snapping a furtive photo before Gavin could bury his face in his hands. How had it leaked? Alex wouldn't. No, he couldn't. They were ride or die, sharing black market exam crib sheets and midnight rants about exes who ghosted harder than Casper. Gavin's crush on Alex had simmered for years, a slow burn from awkward high fives to stolen glances in the shower after pickup games. Coming out wasn't a whim. It was a grenade pulled after months of therapy sessions in the campus counseling center, his therapist's voice a lifeline. "You're worthy of being seen, Gavin. All of you." The barista slid his latte across the counter with a pitying smile. "Rough night, huh? Saw the meme. You're braver than you think." Gavin forced a nod, tasting bile, and bolted into the crisp November air, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones. His mind raced back to the confession. The way Alex's room felt like a confessional booth, fairy lights strung haphazardly over textbooks, the distant wail of sirens underscoring the city's indifferent pulse. "I'm gay, Alex, and it's you. It's always been you." The words had tumbled out, Gavin's voice a fragile thread, met with Alex's stunned silence before that hug, that lie. By noon, the virality hit escape velocity. Campus radio was joking about it between indie tracks, professors awkwardly avoiding his name in roll call. Gavin's inbox overflowed, his conservative folks from Ohio firing off frantic texts. "What is this nonsense? Call us now." His little sister emoji-bombing hearts of confusion. He powered off the phone, sinking onto a bench overlooking the arch, the marble sentinel to dreams he'd once chased with wide-eyed ambition. Art school felt like a lifetime ago. Now it was a cage, every sketchpad a potential confessional. That's when he saw the guy. Leaning against the arch's curve, sketchbook in hand, was a stranger with ink-stained fingers and a mop of curly black hair that defied gravity. He was drawing the square's chaos, the buskers, the tourists, the protesters with signs for everything from climate justice to queer rights. Their eyes met, and the guy, mid-20s, olive skin, a faded Ramones tee stretched over lean muscles, tilted his head, no judgment, just curiosity. "You look like you could use a subject," he said, voice laced with that easy Brooklyn cadence, holding out his pencil like an olive branch. Gavin blinked, the meme's echo fading for a split second. "Or a witness protection program." The stranger laughed, a sound like sunlight cracking through clouds, and scooted over. "I'm Leo, and hey, if it's the thing everyone's buzzing about, screw him. Art's the real exposure." They talked, or rather Leo talked, weaving tales of his own viral fuck-ups. A street art piece that accidentally trended as political arson, the backlash that nearly broke him. Gavin listened, the knot in his chest loosening thread by thread, spilling fragments of his story without the full hemorrhage. By dusk, they were wandering the village, Leo's arm brushing Gavin's in the crowd, a casual electricity that made Gavin's skin hum. Leo was a painter, crashing in a Bushwick loft after dropping out of Pratt, surviving on commissions and the occasional bar gig slinging drinks. Coming out's like throwing your soul into the ring, Leo said over falafel wraps from a hole in the wall, sauce dripping like unspoken regrets. But the crowd? They're just noise. The real fight's with the mirror. Gavin nodded, the words sinking in, a balm against the raw edges. For the first time since the leak, he felt seen, not as a punchline, but as a person, hazel eyes reflecting back his own guarded hope. Night fell heavy, the city a neon heartbeat as they parted at the subway. Leo's number burned in Gavin's pocket, a talisman against the storm. Back in the dorm, Alex was waiting, slumped on the fire escape with a six-pack and eyes red-rimmed like a guilty sunrise. Gav, shit, I didn't. But Gavin cut him off, the betrayal crystallizing in the humid air. You swore, man. My truth, your silence. What the fuck happened? Alex crumbled, confession spilling like cheap beer. A drunk tweet to blow off steam, screenshotted by a roommate, rocketing through frat chats into the ether. I panicked, thought it'd die. I'm sorry, bro. I mean, Gav. I don't know what I feel. The words hung, a precipice. Gavin's heart fractured anew. Not just from the leak, but the mirror it held to their bond. Love unrequited, friendship poisoned. He stormed inside, slamming the window on Alex's pleas, curling into bed as sobs racked him, the meme's laughter echoing in his skull. Sleep came fitful, dreams of spotlights and shattered sketches, until morning light pierced the blinds like an accusation. Gavin woke to the relentless drum of rain against the window, his body a leaden ache from the night's unraveling. The dorm was a tomb. Empty beer cans on the sill, Alex's door cracked open like an invitation he couldn't accept. He checked his phone against his better judgment. The meme had metastasized, now with fan art edits, think pieces in BuzzFeed, even a segment on local news framing it as Gen Z's raw take on fluidity. Comments ranged from vitriol, "Go back to Ohio, queer," to unexpected lifelines, "You're not alone, king. Own your truth." Among them, a DM from Leo, "Coffee? My treat. No sketches, promise." He met Leo at a nondescript spot in Williamsburg, the kind of place with exposed brick and baristas who looked like they moonlighted as poets. Leo slid into the booth with 2 steaming mugs, his smile a defiant spark. "Figured you'd need caffeine armor." They eased into conversation, Gavin peeling back layers like onion skin. The Ohio upbringing in a split-level house where dad grilled steaks and mom baked apple pies, both oblivious to the sun sketching shirtless surfers in hidden notebooks. "Church every Sunday," Gavin said, stirring sugar into oblivion. "Prayed the gay away till I realized God wasn't listening. Or maybe he was, just saying deal with it." Leo leaned in, elbows on the scarred wood table, his dark eyes holding space without pity. "My folks bailed when I came out at 16. Pops called it a phase. Ma packed my shit and changed the locks. Lived in my car for a month, painting murals on abandoned warehouses till some gallery scout bit." His laugh was self-deprecating, but Gavin saw the scars, the way Leo's fingers twitched for a cigarette he didn't light. There was a pull between them, magnetic and terrifying, like gravity daring Gavin to jump. Leo's hand grazed his across the table, accidental on purpose, sending sparks up Gavin's arm. "You're handling this better than I did. Hell, you're handling it at all." The afternoon blurred into a haze of wandering. Leo's loft in Bushwick, a sunlit chaos of canvases and half-eaten takeout, the air thick with turpentine and possibility. Gavin perched on a stool, watching Leo work, a portrait of a drag queen from the previous night's show, bold strokes capturing fierce joy. "Art's rebellion," Leo murmured, smudging charcoal on his cheek. "Says what words choke on." Gavin's fingers itched for his own sketchpad, abandoned in the dorm like a discarded limb. Tentatively, he picked up a spare pencil, tracing Leo's profile against the window. The curve of his neck, the thoughtful furrow of his brow. Leo turned, catching him mid-stroke, and the room charged with unspoken hunger. Their first kiss happened like a storm breaking, Leo's hand cupping Gavin's jaw, tentative, then fierce, lips tasting of coffee and courage. Gavin melted into it, years of pent-up longing uncoiling in the press of bodies. The scrape of stubble, the soft gasp when hands found skin under shirts. It was messy, real. Teeth clacking, breaths mingling in laughter-tinged urgency. "Is this okay?" Leo whispered, pulling back, eyes searching. Gavin nodded, voice hoarse. More than. They tumbled onto the futon amid paint-splattered drop cloths, exploring with the reverence of survivors, Gavin's body awakening to touches that whispered you are enough. But ecstasy's afterglow couldn't eclipse the encroaching shadow. As they lay tangled, Gavin's phone lit up, his RA texting. Meeting with Dean tomorrow. Bullying reports re-you. The meme had birthed real-world fangs. Graffiti on his locker. Fairy Gavin flies away. Whispers turning to shoves in the halls. Alex had tried calling a dozen times. Voicemails thick with remorse. I fucked up, Gav. Let me fix it. Please. Gavin deleted them. The betrayal a fresh wound. But doubt crept in like fog off the East River. Was cutting him off the answer or just another cage? That night, over pizza in a dimly lit joint off Bedford, Leo pushed gently. Confront him. Not for absolution, for your peace. Betrayal's a thief. Don't let it steal your voice too. Gavin chewed thoughtfully, mozzarella stringing like fragile ties. Leo was right. America's promise was reinvention, but ghosts lingered unless faced. By morning, resolve hardened. Gavin texted Alex. Quad. Noon. No bullshit. The confrontation unfolded under a slate-gray sky, the arch looming like a judgmental elder. Students milled about, some gawking, phones poised like weapons. Alex arrived disheveled, lacrosse jersey rumpled, eyes shadowed hollows. Gavin held up a hand, voice steady despite the tremor. Why? After everything, the road trips, the all-nighters, me holding your hand through that breakup with Jess. I trusted you with my soul, and you turned it into clickbait. Alex flinched, tears carving tracks down his face. I was scared, okay? Scared of what it meant for us. For me, that hug. It lingered because part of me felt it too. But I couldn't. My team's all macho bullshit. Dad's the king of man up. I tweeted to laugh it off, thought it'd stay private. Didn't. And now you're paying for my cowardice. The admission landed like a sucker punch. Reciprocal feelings, buried under layers of denial. Gavin's chest tightened, a cocktail of rage and ache. You don't get to feel it too, after weaponizing my pain. We're done, Alex. Find your truth without dragging me under. He turned to walk away, but Alex grabbed his arm, desperate. Wait, I'll go public. Tell everyone it was my fuck-up, not yours. Memes, statements, whatever. A crowd had gathered, murmurs rippling like wildfire. Gavin yanked free, the arch's shadow swallowing him as he fled, heart a war zone. Leo was waiting back at the loft, arms open, no questions. They didn't speak of it. Instead, bodies conversed in the language of healing. Slow, deliberate, mapping vulnerabilities with kisses that bruised like promises. As rain lashed the windows, Gavin sketched Leo asleep, lines fluid with newfound freedom. But freedom's price loomed. The dean's office at dawn, where bureaucracy met bravery, and Gavin would have to fight for his place in this sprawling American tapestry. The dean's office smelled of polished oak and stale ambition, a corner suite overlooking the Hudson where Dr. Harlan, silver-haired, tweed-jacketed, gestured Gavin to a leather chair that creaked under his weight. Mr. Ramirez, this meme business. It's unfortunate. We've had complaints, harassment, disruptions. Gavin sat ramrod straight, Leo's words echoing. Your voice. Unfortunate? Is my life, sir. Leaked without consent, turned into spectacle. If that's not harassment, what is? Harlan steepled his fingers, the picture of institutional unease. We're investigating, but emotions run high on social media. Perhaps a leave of absence. No. Gavin's interruption was steel-wrapped silk, honed by nights staring down his reflection. I'm not the problem. Silence is. NYU prides itself on diversity. Put your money where your motto is. Sensitivity training, content takedowns, support for students like me. Harlan blinked, then nodded slowly, jotting notes. Bold, Mr. Ramirez. We'll draft a response. As Gavin left, the hallway buzzed with tentative nods from strangers. His story shifting from punchline to rallying cry, petitions circulating like contraband. Word spread. Queer alliance meetings swelled. Allies posting solidarity vids. Even Alex's lacrosse team issuing a half-assed apology tweet that Gavin ignored. But the real storm brewed at home. His phone rang mid-afternoon. Mom's number, voice quivering over the line from Dayton. "Gavin, honey, we saw the news. Your father. He's processing. But we love you. Always have." Dad grunted in the background. A gruff, "Proud of you, son," that cracked Gavin open like eggshell. Tears blurred the subway ride to Leo's, where he collapsed into waiting arms, the weight of conditional love lifting to something unconditional. Their romance deepened in those stolen weeks, a whirlwind of rooftop picnics under starless skies and gallery crawls in Chelsea, where Leo's hand in his felt like a middle finger to the meme's malice. Gavin's art bloomed, sketches evolving into bold oils, his senior project a series titled Exposed. Raw figures emerging from digital glitches, vulnerability weaponized as beauty. Leo posed for half, his lithe form twisted in ecstasy and agony, their nights bleeding into mornings of whispered futures. "Move in after graduation," Leo murmured one dawn, fingers tracing Gavin's spine. Bushwick's got room for 2 dreamers. Gavin's yes was a vow, sealed with salt-laced kisses. Yet betrayal's echo lingered, a specter in quiet moments. Alex cornered him at a campus party. Thumping bass, red solo cups, the air thick with sweat and synth pop. "Gav, hear me out." Alex's breath reeked of tequila, eyes glassy with regret. "I outed myself last night. Full post, everything. The feelings, the fuck-up. Lost half my team, but it's freeing." Gavin paused, cup midway to lips, the revelation a gut twist. Alex's phone glowed with screenshots. A vulnerable thread admitting bisexuality, the hug's hidden heat, pleas for Gavin's forgiveness. Comments poured in support, slurs, the internet's bipolar pulse. "Why now?" Gavin demanded, voice cutting through the din. "Because losing you gutted me. You're not just a friend, you're the blueprint for brave. I want to earn that back if you'll let me." The party swirled around them, bodies grinding oblivious. But in that pocket of honesty, something shifted. Not absolution, too soon for that, but understanding, the humanistic thread weaving through wreckage. Gavin nodded curtly. "Time, Alex. Words are cheap. Actions stick." As Alex melted into the crowd, Gavin found Leo across the room, their gaze locking like homing beacons. They danced then, hips syncing to an indie remix, Leo's laugh in his ear a shield against the world's white noise. Climax crashed the following week, a viral backlash wave cresting on TikTok. Deepfake videos splicing Gavin's meme face onto porn clips, tagged NYU Gay Gate, racking millions of views. Death threats slithered into his DMs. "Jump off the bridge, ferry." The darkness closing like a noose. Panic clawed at him during a midnight walk home, shadows lengthening into monsters, until Leo's texts pulled him back. "Where are you?" "I'm coming." They met under the Williamsburg Bridge, graffiti-scarred beams humming with traffic overhead, Leo enveloping him in a bare hug that smelled of paint and safety. "This ends tonight," Leo growled, dialing campus security while Gavin trembled, the violations stripping him bare. By morning, NYU's PR machine roared to life. Content scrubbed, legal threats to platforms, a press conference where Gavin spoke. Voice steady, eyes fierce. "My story isn't yours to meme. It's mine to live," loud and unapologetic. Flanked by Leo and a stone-faced Alex, who added his own mea culpa, the room erupted in flashes. The speech trended positively, Gavin's truth eclipsing the hate, celebrities chiming in, Billy Porter tweeting fire emojis, a queer senator vowing policy pushes. Gavin's family flew in unannounced, Mom hugging him tearful in the airport, Dad clapping his shoulder with a gruff, "Knew you had balls, kid." In the aftermath, romance flowered amid the rubble. Leo's loft became their haven, walls papered with Gavin's Exposed series, now gallery-bound. One evening, as snow dusted the city like forgiveness, they cooked pasta in mismatched pots, wine loosening tongues. "You saved me," Gavin said, twirling fettuccine. Leo's foot hooked around his ankle under the table. Leo shook his head, curls wild. "Nah, we saved each other. That's the American dream, right? Messy, beautiful reinvention." Their lovemaking that night was slow fire, bodies a dialogue of scars and stars. Gavin tracing the constellation of freckles on Leo's chest, whispering "I love you" into the curve of his neck. But humanity's arc bent toward growth, not erasure. Alex re-entered orbit tentatively, Coffee runs, no pressure hangs, rebuilding on fault lines. One rainy afternoon in the quad, under the arch that had witnessed so much, Alex handed Gavin a sketchpad. Blank pages a canvas for amends. "Draw me as I am," he said, vulnerable. Gavin did, raw lines capturing a man emerging, flaws and all. "Friends?" Alex asked, tentative. Gavin smiled, the scar tissue flexible now. "Yeah, friends." Spring unfurled over New York like a hesitant truce, cherry blossoms rioting pink against the gray spires, mirroring the tentative bloom in Gavin's life. Graduation loomed, cap and gown armor against the past year's siege. His thesis show packing the Tisch Gallery with tear-streaked admirers. Exposed hung luminous. Canvases pulsing with queer resilience. Leo's form woven through abstracts of fractured light. Critics raved, a visceral manifesto for the digital age. And buyers snapped up pieces, funding Gavin's dream of a Brooklyn studio. Leo beamed from the front row, hand possessive on his knee. Their engagement whispered in the after-party buzz. No ring yet, just a shared keychain etched ours. Alex had carved a niche in their circle, his bisexuality a bridge rather than a bomb. He and Gavin co-taught a workshop for incoming freshmen, storytelling through vulnerability, drawing crowds of wide-eyed kids hungry for blueprints. "I was the villain once," Alex shared in a session, voice steady. "But villains rewrite their arcs." Gavin nodded, adding, "And heroes bleed. That's the plot twist." Their friendship, reforged in fire, carried the weight of what-ifs but soared lighter for it. Late-night texts trading memes of their own making, self-deprecating, empowering. Yet romance's hearth warmed deepest with Leo. Their life in the loft was a tapestry of chaos and calm. Mornings tangled in sheets, coffee brewing to the radio's indie croon. Evenings on the fire escape, sharing joints and stargazing through light pollution. Leo's latest series, Bridges, mirrored their bond. Spans of steel and shadow, connecting fractured shores. One canvas featured Gavin mid-laugh, brushstrokes capturing the crinkle of his eyes, the joy that had eluded him pre-meme. "My muse," Leo teased, but his gaze held reverence, the kind that said home. Conflict's embers flared sporadically. A trollish email here, a family dinner awkward with dad's fumbling allyship there, but Gavin navigated with hard-won grace. Therapy continued, a weekly anchor, unpacking the betrayal's strata. Not just Alex's leak, but the internalized shame from Ohio pews, the fear of unworthiness. "You're whole," his therapist affirmed, and in Leo's arms, he believed it. Their intimacy evolved too, playful explorations with silk ties and whispered commands. Gavin discovering dominance's thrill, Leo's submission a gift of trust. It was erotic poetry, bodies scripting love letters in sweat and sighs. Summer heat baked the city into a fever dream. Their escape a road trip upstate. Winding roads through the Catskills. A borrowed Jeep rattling with playlists of Springsteen and Hozier. They camped by a lake, fireflies dancing like errant pixels. Leo's head on Gavin's lap as guitars strummed folk tales. "Remember that first coffee?" Gavin mused, fingers carding through curls. Leo grinned wickedly. "You looked like a kicked puppy. Now, you're the wolf." They made love under the canopy. Earth cool beneath them. Stars indifferent witnesses to ecstasy's howl. Back in the city, virality's ghost resurfaced in Opportunity's guise. A podcast invite from the Moth, Gavin's story slotted for live storytelling. Stage fright gnawed, but Leo rehearsed with him, their loft a echo chamber of drafts. The night arrived electric, Union Chapel's pews packed, air humming anticipation. Gavin stepped to the mic, spotlights warm on his skin, voice threading the needle from hook to healing. The confession's intimacy, the meme's maelstrom, Leo's light piercing the dark. Laughter rippled at the absurdities, tears at the truths. Applause thundered as he closed. Exposure isn't erasure, it's invitation. To love, to live, unapologetically. Leo waited backstage, pulling him into a kiss that tasted of triumph. Alex clapping from the wings with a thumbs up. Post-show drinks flowed at a dive bar, toasts to survival. The trio's bond a quiet miracle. To plot twists, Alex raised his glass, and Gavin clinked, the clink a seal on forgiveness. Autumn gilded the leaves as Gavin's life settled into rhythm. Adjunct teaching gig, gallery rep scouting his work, Leo's solo show selling out. One crisp evening, atop the Brooklyn Bridge, ironic monument to their bridges. Leo dropped to one knee, a simple band glinting in sodium light. Marry me, Gav. Not despite the mess with it. All of it. Tears pricked. Gavin's yes a laugh sob, sealing with a kiss as the skyline twinkled assent. The wedding was quintessentially American. A rooftop affair in Bushwick, fairy lights strung like Alex's old dorm, drag queens emceeing with lip-sync battles, mom's apple pie for dessert. Dad walked Gavin down the aisle, a makeshift path of wildflowers, whispering, "Love you, kid, gay, straight, whatever you're mine." Vows exchanged under a harvest moon. Leo's, "I'll paint your storms into sunrises." Gavin's, "I'll sketch our forever." Line by bold line. Alex Bestman, toast heartfelt. To the friend who taught me courage, and the love that made it stick. Years blurred forward in humanistic hues. A daughter adopted from foster care, her laughter echoing in the studio. Joint exhibits touring coasts, exposed and bridged a beacon for queer youth. The meme faded to footnote, occasionally unearthed in viral throwbacks, but Gavin claimed it. Framed print on the wall, caption origin story. Betrayal's scar tissue toughened him. Romance's grace softened the edges. In quiet nights, Leo's head on his chest, Gavin traced the rise and fall, gratitude a steady pulse. America, with its contradictions, freedom's roar and bigotry's bite, had forged them in fire, emerging not unscathed, but unbreakable. Love, he knew, wasn't absence of storm. It was dancing in the rain, unashamed.